coming at you live for today's video in the bathtub, which could only mean one thing. We are painting the bathtub. Today is bathroom makeover number 2 of a 3-part series for this camper bathroom. So if you guys have seen any of my videos in the past, my most popular videos are painting things. We painted a marble countertop, our bathtub at home, our kitchen appliances, and the kitchen tile. I feel like there might be one more thing, but I honestly can't remember. I decided to take those skills, if you would call it, and do the same thing in the camper bathroom. We could of course buy all new things, like we could buy a new bathtub, a new sink, a new vanity, a new toilet, but I figured let's just paint it for now. It will save us a lot of money, and if you guys are trying to do your camper over very inexpensively, this will be great for you guys. I'm going to show you guys what we're going to use for this video. So I have this marble paint kit. I will link this down below. So what I'm going to do is use this tub and tile kit for the tub, the sink, and the toilet, possibly also the shower surround. And then I was going to use the marble countertop kit for the vanity top. This is the kit that I used before. This is a brand new one. This is the one I used before, so I'm not sure if it has like an expiration, because I think this one you can technically only have open for 6 hours and it's done. So we'll see if this works. Fingers crossed it does. I also have denatured, I don't know how to say that, alcohol to clean the surfaces off with. Next, I have bath and kitchen rollers with a little mini roller. I am doing this a little bit different than I did the first time around. I'm just gonna see if this like changes it at all. The first time around it came out beautiful, and it's still holding up so well. It's actually been a full year and it's still beautiful. Then I also have 600 grit sandpaper, and then I just have a little bucket to put the paint in. So this is gonna be really tricky to film because the whole bathroom is so small. Let me show you guys. So I'm sitting in the bathtub right now. Then right here we have the little sink, and then right here is a toilet. So I'm not honestly sure how this is gonna be filmed, but we're gonna try to go with it. I have this little heater right here to keep me warm, and also to keep the whole area warm because it needs to be warm when you paint and not cold. So I'm hoping this does the job. Here's an overview of what the bathroom looks like right now. The tub and shower surround are obviously very 70s. I do feel a little sad painting over it, but it definitely needs to be changed. The sink needs some help and sprucing up, and so does this toilet. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the sandpaper and go over all of the surfaces that I'm going to be painting. Then I'll go in with the alcohol and clean it up. As I was standing, I was like, I should probably take out this faucet so that everything goes very smoothly. So I'm just taking this out quickly. And then in the shower area, we have a faucet with a hose. This was in there so tight, I could not get it out. So I just decided to leave it and paint around it. I did eventually get the hose out, so that was really helpful, but the rest of it had to stay in there. Now I'm just removing all of these little hookups. So I'm removing the shower curtain rod, and then there was also another little like rod holder, and I think they just used to hang their clothes on there because there was hangers on it with like a wood bar, and I guess that's a pretty good idea to do, but I just didn't need that, so I'm taking that all down. For the shower backsplash, I've had a few ideas. I'm actually doing something really fun to the ceiling, which I cannot wait to show you guys in next week's video. And I was thinking of doing the same thing to the shower, but I just wasn't sure if I wanted to do it or not. So for now, I've decided to just paint the shower with the kit. But eventually I'm thinking I may do something a little bit different. And I did decide to leave all of this hardware in because
I was going to paint over it anyway, so I just figured I would just leave it. So now I'm taking the alcohol and cleaning everything, and make sure you clean really, really well because you don't want any of these specks to stay in your paint.
So everything is sanded down and ready to go. So the next step is my biggest tip with this kit. It is so strong. If you guys are anything like me, I get extremely lightheaded and dizzy from scents, and I'm very like triggered by scents. I get really bad headaches. So this is extremely strong. I would recommend, if you're doing this, make sure it's extremely ventilated. You have windows open everywhere, fans going. For me, it's a little bit hard because I'm in a camper and it's like 30 degrees out. It's super cold, so I'm trying to keep things closed, and I'm trying to have a space heater on. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this. I'm probably just going to paint and then like run out of here and try to just grab air. But here is the mask I'm going to be using. Make sure you use one of these masks. Do not skimp, because I really feel like it's very dangerous if you're smelling this. The other thing is, I actually was thinking as I was sanding everything down, I think I might just paint everything with a tub and tile paint and then just use the veining from the marbling kit to go over certain areas. That way I'm not using two different paints and it might just get a little bit confusing, and I'd have to be very careful and precise about it. Where if I just use this, I can just paint everything. So I'm gonna start with the shower surround and the tub and see how that goes.
The first step is to add the activator into the paint, and I only had this ridiculously huge paint stirrer, so I had to try to work with this. It was so huge for this little container. So you want to mix this really well. The consistency is going to be kind of like milk or maybe eggnog, getting a little festive. So you just want to mix it until it is all mixed together, and this is what the consistency will look like. So I just poured a little bit of this into the pan, and I will say that one jar of this really does go such a long way. This is the second time I've done it, and I've always had a lot of leftover paint, so don't worry that you're not going to have enough paint, because it really does go a long way. So your first coat is always going to be messy, and it's going to be probably scary to do this, especially if you're doing this in your house. When I did it, I was really nervous, but it turns out beautifully, so don't worry. You will probably see the paint lines, and if there's little drips, just go over it. The second coat will fix a lot of these mistakes. So one thing that I did have an issue with the first time I used this paint was I was getting these little fish eyes, and they almost looked like these like little, not bubbles, but just holes in the paint. And so what I did this time around was, if I saw that happening, I just went over it with the paintbrush as it was a little bit more dry, and it completely took them out, and I didn't have any of those fish eyes on the bathtub. So it was awesome. I also taped my phone to the ceiling. That way you guys could get a little bit of a better view, because a tripod does not fit in the bathroom. So I kind of had to hold everything by hand and also try to paint. It was a little tricky, but I think this angle is pretty good. I will say painting over the wallpaper was kind of sad, but painting over this brown countertop was so satisfying and so exciting to me. I feel like this really helped to change the whole overall appearance of the bathroom, so I was just so excited to see this painted finally. Since the roller is a little big, it's hard to get some of these angles of the sink and maybe even your bathtub. So I took a foam brush and I painted with this. However, you will see that these foam brushes disintegrate. That will probably be in like a few clips. So make sure that you have a bunch of these on hand, because you can probably only use it for about maybe 10 minutes or so, and then it's gonna start to disintegrate. And if you see those little lines, the sharp lines to the left in the sink, it's because the paintbrush was disintegrating and the wood piece inside was starting to poke through. Luckily, this toilet was all white except for the lid and the seat, so that was all I had to paint. If your whole toilet is brown, I'm not sure that I would paint on the inside just because with the water sitting in there, I feel like it could peel, so I probably wouldn't recommend that. Here's the first coat, and I let this dry for about an hour. It really doesn't take long to dry at all. So it's really great how quickly you can work with it. So now let's put the second coat on. You guys are gonna see such a huge difference. It's so exciting seeing the second coat go on because it's so much whiter and brighter and just looks a lot better. So I had to have the window open in the bathroom and it let in some dust particles. So if this happens to any of your areas or if there's dust that floats down, just take the sandpaper and go over it. And as you can see, it makes it really smooth and good as new. And then I would just go over it again with the alcohol just to make sure that there are no more dust particles after you sanded. Here you can see how sad this paintbrush is. It really disintegrated so badly. So here I have a new one and we are good to go and start painting the sink again. So here's what the second coat looks like, and now we run into a little bit of an issue. I had to work this morning, so by the time the second coat was done, it was getting dark and I wasn't gonna have enough time for it to dry and put a third coat on. This paint really does expire after 6 hours. This is what it looks like, and this is what it's supposed to look like. So I had a feeling this might happen, but I was like, maybe they were just being dramatic in the instructions, but they really weren't. It really does expire. So I had a little freak out. You can really only get this paint online. They don't sell it in stores. Maybe by you they do, but everywhere here they don't. So I did find at Walmart, they did have this, but in the spray paint version, which I used, if you guys remember, on the farmhouse sink video. So I went to Walmart, got the tub and tile spray paint, the same exact thing, just a spray paint version, and I just did that on the tub, and honestly it looks amazing. I think this might even look better than our bathtub at home. I think the combination of these two products is just so good. I will say though, the spray paint is pretty expensive. It's $13 a can, and the entire bucket of paint is only $22. So it's definitely more expensive, but I had no choice. So what I'm doing is going back and forth, and make sure you kind of go over the part that you spray painted. Again, I don't know if I'm making sense. You just want to keep making sure you're basically like layering all of your paint, because that will give it a really nice finish. So first I'm going horizontal here, and then for the second coat I'll go vertical and vice versa, and I just keep doing that until it is done. I think I only put 2 coats of this spray paint on and it looked amazing, so I only needed a can for the rest of the touch-ups. So once that dried, I just put some of this painter's tape down and some plastic, and I just finished off the shower surround with the same spray paint. Let's take a look at the final result. So here is what it looks like. I am so impressed with how this turned out. I did decide to not marble the countertop because the wallpaper came in the same day and I felt like the wallpaper is pretty busy, so I wanted to leave the countertop a little bit more neutral. So if in the next video I feel like it needs the marbling, I will definitely add that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you have a safe Thanksgiving, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!